Hey everybody, this is another failure video. How wonderful, isn't it? Seems like everything I have fails. And in this case, it's because I use it a whole ton. I know my EOTech failed, and I don't know if that was a fluke or what. I wasn't really using it hard or banging it around or anything. That was just kind of in storage and failed, which makes it even worse. So the EOTech left my place, and here's another thing that failed on me. This is the CompTac hybrid holster. I think the model's the Minotaur is what it's called. This is for a full-size HK USP 40. And this is my everyday carry gun. This is a little big for most people's everyday carry gun, and I'm going to explain why I feel the need to carry this. I carry this, it's in 40. It is loaded because it's always loaded, and I'm aware of that, so I'm going to handle it safely. This is a full-size 40. This is a 13-round magazine with one in the chamber, and I carry an additional 10-round magazine with me in my coat pocket. And this seems like maybe it's excessive, or I'm going to leave it at home and all that stuff. And in normal situations, I would totally agree with that and say, yeah, this is kind of overkill for my everyday life. But the thing is, my everyday life differs from other people's everyday lives, and that kind of falls under the category of what is your uses for this? Meaning, where do you go throughout the day? Do you live in a neighborhood where there's gunshots fired all the time? I don't personally, but I invest in properties and basically fix them up and rent them in neighborhoods that there are gunshots fired daily. And I personally remodel them. So I spend 3 or 4 days out of my week in a terrible neighborhood, like a bad neighborhood that is kind of scary. And because of that, I think it's very appropriate for me to carry a real large pistol like this. And this is one that I've trained with extensively. The HK USP is the absolute most familiar pistol platform to me because I've been using it for so long. And I've trained with it, drawing from holsters, and done a lot of USPSA practice with it. Anyways, so as I am carrying this gun in this holster, which is my daily deal, I feel something fall into my shoe, and I lift up my shoe and I empty it out, and a little rubber thing falls out, and I'm like, what the heck was that? And I get home, and I just kind of dismiss it. I notice my gun is kind of sagging and being all weird on me, and I get home and I take my holster out and get into my evening clothes or whatever, and I notice that this is totally loose and the rubber grommet and screw is missing. So basically what had happened here, and this is no surprise actually now that I look back at, or now that I've contacted CompTac about this, they recommend that you tighten these 2 screws on these mounting things every week. Or else basically they're saying they will loosen, fall out, and your holster will fall apart while you're wearing it. Now for me, and this was kind of a real life situation of why that's not a good design to have in a holster. So as I am fiddling with this, oh actually let's back up. So this one falls out. I go home, I can't find my grommet and my screw, but I am able, because I use the CR Speed high torque belt that I also have a review out of, or just not really a review, but a quick look at it. That belt allows me to kind of strap this thing down and only use the one hook in the meantime while I'm getting a replacement for this. So I continue to wear this, not knowing, of course, that I'm supposed to tighten them or something. And a week later, I'm in my house again, and this one works loose and falls out, and my gun falls inside of my pants. I reach in and grab it and set it out on the counter. I'm alone in my house, so it's not a big deal. I set it out down on the counter, and I realized what had happened, so I found the screw in the grommet that fell in my boot again. And I'm putting it back together. As I'm putting it back together, I hear 4 gunshots in my neighborhood, probably like 4 to 5 streets down. I could hear them. I could recognize them as gunshots. It was someone laid on their horn. You could hear, and then bang, 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 and then drove away. So I'm not sure what had happened there, but that was just one indication where a holster that requires maintenance, weekly maintenance, that is prone to failure, is just not something, again, I want in my in my uses, in my collection, in my daily carry loadout. I just don't. That's the same reason I didn't like the EOTech and got rid of that, because something that costs that much money, and this wasn't a cheap holster, something that costs that much money and is supposed to be a quality product shouldn't be failing. In the EOTech, it was just a straight up failure that just shouldn't have happened. In this case, they kind of let you know, hey, this thing is going to fail. You should try and prevent that every week. Or they say, go get some blue Loctite and Loctite those screws down, and then maybe you won't have a problem. If it's that easy of a fix, Loctite it from the freaking factory. You know what I'm saying? And then avoid that. And then if people want to adjust it, they can re-Loctite it. You know, adjust where they want their pistol to ride. I just think it's ridiculous to send a product off of, I don't know how they make these on a line or whatever, but to send it out to people and just put in fine print somewhere that I was not aware of at all when I bought this holster. By the way, this thing's going to fall apart on you, so try and prevent that every week. And it was a practical, and most people might say, well, that's fine, just tighten it. Well, I would challenge you to wear this thing and actually do that every single week for every week of your life, because I'm supposed to, and that's why I love my HK, I've shot this thing totally dry. I'm supposed to be breaking it down and cleaning it and all that stuff, and that doesn't happen. My wife carries too, and she carries a little 380. That thing, I opened that, I grabbed that out of her, where she keeps it, and checked it out for her and pulled it apart, and that thing was bone dry. And I think a lot of people, if a lot of people were honest, if you pull their carry pistols out and give it a good look, you're probably going to find that it's in pretty crappy shape, and you better have a pistol that's going to chug through that. I know for a fact my AK cannon will chug through that. I know for a fact my wife's Ruger LCP has and will chug through that. We've shot both those guns totally dry, magazines through them, and they function perfectly. So while it's ideal that we do, you know, lube it and keep it up and all that stuff, let's be real, that doesn't always happen as frequent as we'd all want it to. And that's what I'm getting at with this holster. Yeah, sure, we're supposed to get down and tighten these every week, but that doesn't always happen. And I want to do a separate video on this possibly, but testing carry guns, I think, is a lot different than testing guns right out of the box for reliability. I wish this camera could focus better, but you can see there's a ton of junk in the back of this gun all over in it. I mean, it is just full of dust and grime and grossness, and on top of it being dry. And I have tested this gun with all that goodness in it, because you will get what I'll call goodness in your carry guns. And yeah, we need to be, if you're going to carry seriously and you're serious about possibly having to use your firearm for defense, you should really honestly carry this thing for months, whatever you're going to carry, months, and do not clean it, and then go fire it and see what happens. Because I'm sure we all have equal bad luck, but when the time comes, if we're a little out of practice and our gun isn't lubed up, is it going to chug through it? That's a real test, I think, because all that junk that you wouldn't normally, especially if you have a pocket carry gun. This one doesn't get too much, it just gets a lot of lint and grossness in there. But Ruger LCP or something you just tuck in your pocket, that's going to get a whole bunch of, whatever that little gross pile of dirt in the bottom of your pocket after you're working construction. We all know what that is. And pile of nails down there, butt splices or wire ends or all sorts of construction junk getting up in there, getting up in the slide of your gun. Can't be good for it. So anyways, I'm not happy with this holster. I'm going to replace these, Loctite it down, and hopefully never hear the issue again. If I do, I'm going to toss this holster. Thanks for watching.